So, hey guys, so I haven't done this in a while, but I did a Facebook Live a few minutes ago in Facebook, of course, in Facebook, talking about NBA Top Shot and the reason why I haven't been there, or at least posting uh, pack openings for Top Shot. But I have a few minutes and I want to answer some questions if you guys have any. We are live in both YouTube and also TikTok as well. So whatever questions you have, I'll try my best to give you value, and I'll try my best to be able to answer your questions. So feel free to leave it down below, and then I'll do my best to be able to answer you. So we now have people joining us at least in YouTube. Si Dutch, hello to you. We have uh, Bashira, uh, hello, and daming tao nagpapabate. I haven't really been doing this live videos for quite some time. Um, si Ivan, a good friend, Tony Herbosa, siya talaga yung into Catecoin. So you can check his posts out on Twitter, talking about it. So yon, Dutch. Then you have Ground Zero. Hello to you. Huh? Ren Delos Santos, any thoughts on ADA consolidating? So, if you notice it, the movement, at least no, looking at it from a sentiment standpoint, the movement of ADA was around August, leading towards yung smart contract nila na announcement, and that's what caused the movement upward. So, I think it was ahead of the market. Please do note also that at some point in August, the market moved up, the crypto market moved up in conjunction to ETH doing their London upgrade, which was something that was very very good for ETH for the long term, and a lot, and it made it gave a lot of token burning for Ethereum. Then after that, ADA came out also, and the news regarding their smart contracts helped push it further. And now that the news is already out, we just have to wait for more developments already on how it could possibly go. And please also do note this, that from a sentiment standpoint, we've seen ADA hit around one from the correction of May and June this year. So earlier this year it was below 1.20 point 20 cents to as high as 3. So there will be people that will take profits. And please do remember that no matter how, and this applies even to the stock market and even to the crypto market, no matter how fundamentally sound it is, no matter how good the promise of that token or coin will be, there will still be people who would want to sell. There will still be people who would want to take profits. And when they sell and when they take profits, corrections do happen. So I think to answer your question is, there must be something also that people must be excited about to buy it at a higher price. And if you're looking at the entire smart contract market right now, there's so much going on in Ethereum. Then Solana is picking up also in terms of sa laki ng interest that's happening in the NFT space and the developments and the wallets that are being created there. So it's getting a bit of the action in the smart contract space. Then you have Algorand, you have Polkadot, you have Avalanche. So in my opinion, no, the thing to watch out for, or at least to consider in the smart contract, yung fight nila, whoever will be the ETH killer, will primarily boil down to adoption, to nasan yung mga users, nasan yung mga programmers, gaano kadami yung mga tao na gumagamit sa kanila. I think those are the things that are, I think, worth looking at and worth considering, because there's a lot of competition in that space. Unlike Bitcoin, it doesn't have competition being the chief store of value. That's why its market dominance is big. Do I think its dominance will be as big moving forward? I think the market will get bigger as a whole, but at some point, lahat ng mga kalaban niya na smart contracts, from Solana to Polkadot, to Avalanche, to Algorand, and also Cardano, and even Tezos, to the other smart contract blockchains, they will get a piece of the pie. But we're still so early, and I'm not a maximalist. I think there will come a point where they will all exist together. So there. Hello to you as well. So I haven't done this in a while, no. I hope that nag-enjoy kayo dito. So sa mutual fund naman, this is my take on this. The that the lower the cost, the better. And statistics have also shown that the index gives you the lowest cost, but not just that. Statistically, no, and there's a lot of data in this, especially sa US markets. Index funds, passive funds have been actively moving markets, or at least actively managed funds as well. So if you want something that is a bit passive and has a lot of historical analysis that have done better through the years, index funds are still the way to go. But I'm a big fan of mutual funds that are heavily into where the future will be, meaning technology, uh, artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, companies that are highly connect, or funds that are heavily invested in that is, I think, something that will be interesting. And in the same way, no, there's already a Bitcoin futures ETF, and it allows people who are exposed to the stock market somehow no have exposure still to Bitcoin without leaving the comforts of the market. Hello to you, Gabrielle. Miko, hello to you. Uh, who's this? Um, Christian Kyle Palilio. Thoughts about Axie? Do you think it will be long term? So I think it's so early right now to be able to predict how long a single game will be. But what I do know right now is every game developer right now that's in blockchain wants to be like Axie. Even if you see it naman sa marketing, they'll always say, we will be the next Axie Infinity, ganon. But in terms of adoption, ang dami naglalaro, and it's not just anymore in the Philippines. There's a lot of other countries also that have used Axie Infinity as a source of livelihood. So in turn, no, from an investment perspective, there are people who have bought Axies and have been earning SLPs from it. There are people also who have been working as scholars and have been getting SLP also from it. There are people who are breeding. There are people who just there to sell their Axies also later on at a certain price. Eh. So this is what I do know. Over the next decade, play to earn will be very, very big. Uh, the gaming industry alone right now is massively bigger than some professional sports already. When you put the gaming industry, blockchain, crypto, and then the ability, and then NFTs attached to it, and then the ability uh, to make a living off of it, wala pa yung mga big brands. Ubisoft just announced that they're spending billions into blockchain gaming, but you haven't seen Blizzard yet. You haven't seen yung gumagawa ng NBA 2K. You haven't seen yung gumagawa ng Mobile Legends. That when those branded games, or even Disney, when they start making games in the blockchain, I think that will be interesting. So I don't, so this is what I do know though. If there will be a game that will beat Axie, it means that in terms of adoption, in terms of yung gustong laruin ng mga players also, it has to be at least 10 times or 100 times better than it. Kasi there has to come a point na bakit ako lilipat, bakit ako mag-change ng game. And please do note that there's a large financial investment also for people who have already bought Axies. So, hindi rin naman siya parang biro-biro na pera, especially for those who have bought multiple teams, and it costs them a lot of money, and for them to shift and change, it will be an investment also in their end. So yun lang. um Nag-enjoy ako dito. I haven't done this Q&A in a while, no. But I was actually trying to sleep, di ako makatulog, so sabi ko might as well add value to people na lang um waiting for this. So yun, hello to you, HD Trading. um May idea po ba kayo sa possible dividend ng MP2 for 2022? I'll check. No, they haven't announced anything yet, but hindi pa kasi tapos yung 2021 eh. So it has to be based kung ano yung kinita nila sa 2021, yun yung bibigay nila na dividend sa 2022. So basically ganun lang yun. Yung kikitain nila ng 2020, yung kikitain nila this year, yun yung bibigay nila na dividends next year. So hindi pa tapos yung taon. We still have 2 months to go. So they'll declare that a couple of months down the line next year. So rest assured, I'm gonna update you also. But it will always be 0.5%, 0.5% higher than what the MP1 rate is, and it's normally higher also than a lot of the time deposit as well. Yun. So Yun. Tapos, uh, Jonathan Mandelhar, what's the entry point? What's the price point for BTC? Uh that's a good question, no? Pero kanya-kanya tayo ng entry point eh. It depends also on your level of capital. It depends also on how you want to on do you want to enter in one go, or do you want to stagger it as well, or do you want to be sensitive on kung nasan yung Bitcoin ngayon. So it ultimately it will depend on you eh. Kasi let me give you context. A lot of people right now natatasan sa Bitcoin. So we're around the 60,000 US dollar mark already. But if you look at it also last year, I was doing videos on it, and I remember it. No, at the end of the year, I was talking to the CEO of eToro, and Bitcoin at that time was below 20,000 US dollars. But a lot of people namamahalan na at that time, because please do remember yung context that in 2017 Bitcoin hit around 19-20,000 US dollars. Then it started to drop already. So when it was trying to challenge and go towards the all-time high of where it was before, a lot of people thought already that it was too high. And I remember that very moment also na yung CEO ng eToro, Yoni Asia, he was actually saying that that it was not super super expensive at that time. So my answer to that is this: you need to define how you will enter, meaning do you enter on a staggered basis, or will you enter pag meron correction na nangyayari. Then you have to define also, will you be in it for the technology? Because if you're in it for the technology, guess what? Yung presyo ng Bitcoin, nagbabago. Pero yung technology does not change eh. Or are you in it because you want to use Bitcoin as a rail? Meaning, it's a way for you to Lightning Network, please research this. Bitcoin, lalagyan mo ng Lightning, you'll use the Lightning Network to be able to send money borderless, or you just really want it as a stash, for a store of value, or do you want to actually trade it? So I think above and beyond what the entry point is, a bigger question is what is something that fits you, and what is something that you can tolerate, and what is something that uh, and because I think dun babalik lahat eh. That's where everything will line up, and that's where everything will also fall. It will always go back to your competence. And I always say this, that the ROI of any investment is in whose hand it is on. Meaning, you always double down into something that alam nyo na. So, anyways, I'll drink water lang. Haven't done live in a while, no? So, parang, di ako sanay. It's really spending a lot of time studying and learning over the past few months. That's why I haven't really been double downing in this. So yun, nakakamiss lang din mag-live for quite some time. Anyways, hello to you, Angel Tisoy. Hello to you, Jonas. Paolo. Paolo Estrabo, good day po. Any thoughts and insights on Bitcoin ETFs like B2 and BTF? Thank you very much. Yun nga, if you just want to track the price of Bitcoin, but you don't enter in it as an asset class na bibili nyo mismo yung Bitcoin, but you're just gonna move and buy the ETF like any other stock. So please remember, an ETF is, you're just buying a stock. Yung nagpapalit lang doon yung underlying asset niya. It could be gold, it could be different stocks as well, or it could also be Bitcoin. So if you don't want to buy Bitcoin directly, buy B2. But ako, I like buying Bitcoin directly eh. So para sa akin, if I'm gonna buy something highly connected um, to Bitcoin pero stock siya, I'll buy something na yung negosyo nila connected to it. So for example, MicroStrategy, which sa sobrang dami ng Bitcoin nila, you can somehow na proxy na rin siya to what Bitcoin is. Another example is Coinbase. Coinbase is listed in the stock market, that you already know that the success of Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency market, kasama rin yung Coinbase doon. So parang ganun, that's how you could actually spin it as well. What else? So will Solana and Cardano overtake Ethereum? Um, that's an interesting question. I think Ethereum right now has the market dominance. All of the developers, all of the apps are there. Sobrang dami, sobrang laki ng transactions niya. And I think the reason why there's a lot of questions springing from this, from Cardano or Solana overtaking Ethereum, is because of its scalability issues and because of the gas fees being so expensive. So I think the biggest thing to watch out for right now it will always go back to this, and I've been mentioning this in all of my videos, that it will all boil down to how successful they implement proof of stake. Because when they implement proof of stake, all of these gas fees na madaming nagrereklamo, kasi mahal naman talaga eh. A friend minted an NFT kanina, ape something, I forgot what, hindi Bored Ape Yacht Club, but a newly listed mint, pre-reveal siya ngayon. The mint was point 0.1, the gas fees were around 0.05, so halos 50% ng minting cost niya, gas fees. And ano na yun, hinintay pa niya yun, there was a point na 0.078. So I think that's the biggest issue of ETH, that sa sobrang daming gumagamit, the gas fees are expensive. So if it if but the projection is over the next few months na, I don't think it will, if everything goes well, before March 2022, ETH 2.0 would be around already. So if at March 2022, ETH 2.0 will be there, whatever the concerns are towards Ethereum scalability issues, mawawala siya. So that being said, both Solana and Cardano have built systems also that somehow no is addressing yung mga hindi kaya gawin ng Ethereum, which is yung scalability. However, please remember this, that you can't have the best of both worlds eh. Meaning, if you try to address scalability, meron kapalit yun, and that will be security or decentralization as well. So yung kagandahan ng Bitcoin sa lahat ng cryptocurrencies out there, it's the most decentralized. Ganun din yung Ethereum. Then when we go to BSC, Solana, and to the other other blockchains there, somehow they're more centralized than what Ethereum is. So I think yun yung uniqueness ng proof of work. It's not scalable. It syempre, because it requires a lot of computing power, a lot of people address it na hindi siya maganda sa environment, pero it's more secure and it's more decentralized. So to answer your question, it's not impossible, but by the rate things are going, I think there's even a bigger possibility that Ethereum could flip Bitcoin. So that's just me. I could also be wrong, but if you're asking me where I put my mouth, where I put my investments, where my mouth is, I have more Ethereum than my positions in Solana and Cardano. So yun lang. And I think as of now, no, October 2021, November 2021 na pala, I have more Ethereum than Bitcoin. Slightly lang naman, but I have more Ethereum than Bitcoin. So yun. So you have Joshua, Dagger, Cheat Daddy, Chris from Canada. Hello to you. Thoughts on Shiba? This is what's interesting, no? It's amazing how Gen Z. So I'm a millennial. I'm 38 years old, but it's amazing how people who are Gen Zs deployed capital into this, and they're the ones really who reap the benefits of it. Uh, I think the way you would analyze meme coins is by the strength of the community. And I'm not in the Shiba Telegram group, but I have a lot of friends that are in it. They're super active eh. So I think a parallelism that you could put in sa Shiba na community, or at least for meme coins, is how communities are also on NFTs. I think that's a very very good parallelism to it, because they're the ones who will support the price of it. And yun, I'm still more of I still like the coins that yung mas napag-aralan ko. Hindi ko masyadong napag-aralan yung Shiba. I do have, pero sobrang konti lang compared to the other friends that I know that have lots of it. So I guess the way you would analyze Shiba treat it like meme coins with more advantages, I guess, than what Doge has. Um, but the strength of it will always be the community. So there. Uh, do you have a metaverse coin? So I'm a big fan of Sandbox. So there's a lot no of ways on how you can study it. Also, the central land is also nice. So I think we're so early into the game that um, we haven't really seen the final form of how the metaverse will be. And the ones that it would be nice to try to be exposed to some of it, so that when it goes into full form, when there's massive adoption into it, uh, you at least you have exposure. So yun yung I think one thing that you can look at now, because it's hard. There's over 11,000 cryptocurrencies already, and it's hard to try to learn and study all of it. So sa akin, I just focus on yung alam na alam ko na. I put larger allocations into that. Then yung second tier, I try to have exposure but not as big as yung larger positions, or at least yung mas alam ko. Yun. So there. Wow, tawid tayo sa Philippine stock market naman, from Carpe Mercator Aldi. So technical sa IPO sa Philippines, I consider yung IPO sa Philippines na not as much of a risk compared sa cryptocurrencies. So if I can, I'll subscribe, because if I subscribe, I'm actually thinking that okay lang, it's still a safer bet than what I could actually get sa cryptocurrency market. So it's in the consumption space. It has a lot of competitors also there. As you all know, Mary Mart is also in that space. Then you have Pure Golds, and you have Robinson's Retail Holdings, and there's a lot to unpack. But I think the buzz around it is because mababa yung stock price at listing, and a lot of people are thinking that since it's lower, it has a shot to actually push higher and faster. So yun. Let's see how it will play out over the next few days, or at least when it comes out. But it's banking on the consumption driven nature or culture of the Philippines, and yung I think lamang nila nakadikit na siya sa mga Villar malls, which yung Villar malls nakadikit na sa mga Villar na condominium and housing projects. So very very well connected sila in terms of meron ka ng target market, kasi kung saan nagpapatayo yung Villar Group, nandun na rin yung mall nila, then nandun na rin yung all home, then nandun na rin yung all day. So it's it's good for the malls kasi lahat tenant sila ng mall. It's also good for people living dun sa community na yun. Pero uh, I guess that's what I'll add to that. Do you think we'll have another dip before the all-time high for crypto? To be honest, I don't know. Here's what I learned in the stock market, and even doing this in the crypto market. No one has a crystal ball on how markets will be, but what I can answer you is because the crypto market is so volatile. Anytime na may parang negative news, anytime na something that alam niyo naman, yung drop last April was pretty much brought about by the FUD in China sa mga miners. So every time you see headline issues like that, it will cause downward volatility sa crypto market. So do I think there will be? I think there will be. You're seeing it naman from 67,000, 66,000, 65,000. We're seeing Bitcoin nag 60,000 and 59,000. So those are normal drops sa cryptocurrency market. I don't know if you're asking for a 50% drop before we push up again. I don't know, but what I do know is this: the resistance at 6,400, which was there because of the drop last April. We broke past it, but we went back down. So that's the resistance to watch out for right now. Failure to go above that level may cause us to consolidate for quite some time. But if you're looking at Bitcoin, also there's so many models, stock to flow model, the halvening cycle, that uh, those could be triggers also that psychologically would cause people to either buy more or actually sell. But here's what I'll always say. This is, I guess ito yung nagbago sa pananaw ko sa Bitcoin over the past months is that more than a medium of exchange, I like Bitcoin because of its technology. And regardless if the market is bullish or bearish, the technology does not change. Eh. So why am I saying this? It's good to have to set mechanisms kung saan kayo bibili. Ultimately, that's so important. But you also need to have scenarios also that what if it doesn't go down anymore? What should you also do? So meaning I always tell people that when you buy, you need to have two scenarios. What will you do if it drops? At what price will you buy? But what if it doesn't drop anymore? Will you wait until a large drop will happen, or will you explore other coins, or will you actually buy it even if it's higher? So, yun. If I had an answer to that, I would tell you, pero I don't know. What I do know right now is the resistance at the 64,000 level is pretty much there, and that's one thing to watch out for. But if you zoom out also for Bitcoin, the long-term trajectory, it has outperformed any other asset class to date. So it has been one of the best. It has been one of the best asset classes ever. Uh, Christopher Buaya, Sir Marvin, FDI 100% ownership. What's the impact to telco and power? Ah, matagal na siya. So this is something that I don't it will be better to have a comment on this when the law is actually passed already, when you have all of the implementing guidelines there. But um, more funds coming into the Philippines will allow a lot of investors to actually put in more. And I guess yun lang yung naging limit nila ngayon, na they can't put in more because of the restrictions sa foreign direct ownership. So um, it will be good for certain levels because it allows fresh funds to flow. But I think what they're trying to protect also is that yung businesses na para sa Pilipino rin yung may control. So may pros and cons to that. But ako, what I always tell people is those are things I can't control. Eh. But what I can control is kung mangyari man yun, ito plano ko. Kung hindi man mangyari yun, ito plano ko. And I think that's the thing that we need to somehow uh, put context into this, that uh, there are things that we can't control, there are things we can speculate on, but ultimately um, investors should focus on what's in your hand and what you can control. So yun. Welcome, Ivan. Then you have uh, dun, 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 dun. Siguro this will be the last one, I guess. Because I have to walk out now. But do you sell on breakout? Please share tips on how to profit if breakout. So generally, sa technical analysis, when breakouts happen, it means that buyers overwhelm the sellers. That buyers are willing to buy it at a much higher price. That's why it's actually breaking out. So if you're using technical analysis and you plot the breakout point, it will be more prudent not to sell during the breakout, but to sell if when it hits the resistance, it does not break the resistance and it starts to fall down. So I think that's what people need to consider and look at. But during the breakout, if I have cash and I like to come in because it's breaking out, it's a good area to buy. Or if I already own the stock at the point that it's breaking out, I would like to hold it. It's not something that I'd like to do na kaka-breakout lang to actually sell. The sell signal should be if it's a failed breakout or if it's at the resistance tapos hindi siya naka-breakout doon. Yun. Uh, So yun, siguro I'll end it with that. Hindi ko napansin 30 minutes na rin pala tong live. I haven't just done this for quite some time because it's been a busy year, and feeling ko I've done so much videos ng 2020 that uh parang parang nakakota ako for that year. That's why it's been lesser this year. And just spending time in NFTs in the crypto market has it's just been so fascinating that it has taken away from what I've been doing, at least sharing my ideas. So yun. So I was actually trying to sleep, hindi ako makatulog. So that's why I'm doing this. But yun, I'm about to go out, also step out now. So yun lang. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have any questions still, I'll try to backtrack siguro some of your other questions later. Then, yun, I'll see if I can do more of this. I hope nag-enjoy kayo lahat. Thank you everyone and God bless you all.